What's going on, everybody? It's AG here. Today we're going to be taking a look at my Big 12 off-season power rankings going into the summer. Now, I will do another one of these the closer we get to the regular season, but this will be the last one Big 12-wise going into the summer. I did do a tier list power ranking not too long ago for the Big 12, so I had 4 tier lists, favorites, contenders, so you're telling me there's a chance, and then better luck next year. But here we're going to be just ranking them from worst to first. Before we do that, though, join me down in the comment section. Let me know your rankings. Also, I did do a poll recently in my community tab. All right, so be on the lookout for that. But I asked you, which of these college football teams is the favorite in the Big 12 this season and why? So between Utah, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, and Arizona, I would say those are arguably the top 4 favorites right now. Utah is sitting in first right now with 50% of the vote. Oklahoma State and Kansas State tied for second with 20%, and then you got Arizona with 10%. Now, we did have a comment on this one. J.M. Jones says, Kansas State plays big boy ball, pretty consistent physical program. Utah has a schedule and roster advantage. Kansas State generally hits and plays above their weight. Oklahoma State is usually pretty good. Mike Gundy gets a lot out of what he's got, though they are a little inconsistent. I would agree with everything listed there by J.M. Jones. And then also, with these 4 teams, these are kind of I would say the contenders, but that next tier. I put a poll up of these. Which of these college football teams will have the best season and why? So, out of the 4 on this list, all right, Kansas is in first with 53%. Iowa State in second with 17%. Texas Tech third with 16%. And then West Virginia in fourth with 14%. Now, we did have some comments on this one. Let's look at them real quick before I get into my rankings. Let's see. Carly Jenkins says, West Virginia, I do think they get acclimated to the Big 12 out of the Mountaineers doing better than 7-5. Okay, so West Virginia could be a sneaky favorite here, sneaky contender. West Virginia has the most versatile, talented quarterback. Garrett Green, really good year last year. Gamer D says probably Kansas. They have a solid squad. Skill positions are there. Christopher says Iowa State is returning some 85% of the team from last year. They're positioned for a solid run in the Big 12. Let's see, Brady Branson, maybe a bit of drinking the Kool-Aid, but Joey has had back-to-back winning seasons with a quarterback carousel, talking about Texas Tech. We have an improved offensive line to hopefully keep that from happening, plus all the speed he's been recruiting will finally be seeing the field. On top of that, a pretty favorable schedule. Anything below 8 wins is a disappointment. All right, and then Shane says anyone except Kansas. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and get back into my rankings. All right, so starting us off here, last place, number 16, Cincinnati. Last season, 3-9. Not the best year entering the Big 12. They kind of missed their window of like really capturing that magic and jumping in the Big 12 at the right time with Luke Fickel as the head coach, coming off college football playoff appearance. Now, will they make a head coaching change after this season? We'll see. I don't think they're going to be very good this year. Now, the real question is, if they do make that coaching change, I don't know if they will or not. They might give him some more time. But who will they hire? And then, with that being said, with them just joining the Big 12, you kind of got to give them a few years to get acclimated. I mean, you look back at when TCU joined, and they just made, national championship a couple years ago. They didn't start out too hot in the Big 12. It took them a little bit. It usually takes teams a little bit once you get to the P4, P5 conferences from the G5, but giving them time, eventually they'll probably be all right. Number 15, Arizona State, last season 3-9 as well. Had some sparks, some shining moments last year. They played with Washington pretty competitively in the Pac-12. But really, other than that, though, not really too many impressive games for me last season. How they look, entering the Big 12. The Big 12's kind of wide open, and there's not really a favorite right now, I would say. How does Arizona State do? I don't think very good. Now, I think with like these last 2 teams on this list, I think they can all beat each other, probably like 10 and above, but I don't think they're going to be able to beat the good teams. All right, number 14, Houston. You've got Willie Fritz coming over. They went 4-8 last year. Willie Fritz coming from Tulane as the head coach. He did really good things there. He has history in Houston. All right, he was at Sam Houston when they were not a Division I school, not an FBS school. He won a lot of ball games there, so he's proven he can recruit that area, proven he can win in that area. Give him a lot of time here, and I think he can get Houston back on the map. They've got Donovan Smith at quarterback. You may remember him from Texas Tech and from Houston. So they could sneak up on some people this year depending on how quickly Willie Fritz can get things turned around, but I don't think it's an easy one-year done thing, Number 13, BYU. Last season, 5-7, their first year in the Big 12. Now, they're kind of a question mark for me. They've had years in the past, they had really good seasons. They go win double-digit wins. How will they look this year? I don't know. If they can find a consistent quarterback, I think they'll be okay with consistent QB play. They brought in Keaton Slovis last year from USC and Pitt. He was okay. He got hurt in some parts, so that kind of impacted their season a little bit. But 5-7 is a lot better than 3-9 that we just talked about. So I think they can be improved, but with who's in the Big 12, I don't see that much room for improvement, really. Our number 12, TCU. All right, coming off that national championship appearance last season, 5-7. Now, they kind of started off with not necessarily a quarterback carousel, but question marks at quarterback. Was it going to be Hoover? Was it going to be Chandler Morris? They have settled on Hoover now. All right, Morris is gone. So can they improve? They have improved their roster a little bit, brought in some solid Power 5 transfers. Now, the question mark for me here is I'm not the biggest believer in Sonny Dykes. No offense to him, but he did make the national championship because of Max Duggan. But I'm not the biggest believer just yet, but I can be won over if they have a good year this year and shock me. We'll see what happens. Number 11, Baylor. Last season, 3-9. Dave Aranda is officially on the hot seat. I think his clock's ticking at Baylor. Crazy how much of a downfall he's had at Baylor. You go back when he made the Big 12 championship not too long ago, Dave Aranda at Baylor. Then they sucked last year. Now, they bring in some solid portal pieces that I think they will jump up a little bit. Daquan Finn coming in at quarterback from Toledo. I'm curious to see how he looks in this offense. They've got a pretty good running back, Dawson Pendergrass. We'll see how they do this year. I don't know how good they'll be because, again, Dave Aranda has kind of gotten worse and worse each year he's been the head coach. But it's kind of make or break. So if he can get this team to buy in, hey, guys, we got to win or I'm gone, maybe they can go on a run here. Our number 10, Colorado. Last season, 4-8, not the best year, but they did beat TCU. So they have talent. I will say that. Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, that speaks for itself. But they've got a lot of talent here to where realistically they could compete with anybody in the Big 12. But what they did last year didn't really sell me on anything. Like I said, they did beat TCU. So, that shows you they can play with Big 12 teams. But that was the first week. So, they're really hyped up. They're getting the national coverage. But with how it ended, I don't know because it tanked hard for Colorado towards the end of the season. Now, Shedeur is, a future first-round pick probably. If they can kind of improve that line a little bit, maybe they can be better, improve that defense as well. They're going to have talent, like I said, so they're going to be able to play with anybody. But last year just didn't give me too much reason for optimism. Our number 9, UCF. Apparently I left their pitcher off. Oops. Last season, 6-7. All right, Gus Malzahn brings in KJ Jefferson from Arkansas to be their quarterback. All right, they've got some nice pieces coming back. RJ Harvey. I don't know if this team is quite a sleeper because I think the teams above them are all probably better, but UCF is going to be talented this year. Now, they have improved their interior line and defense a little bit, whether it's from portal, whether it's from, backups and starters coming back and just stepping up. So I think they're going to be improved this year. Gus Malzahn is a winner. All right, he won a lot at Auburn. And I'm curious to see how KJ Jefferson looks in this offense. Now, with the talent they have, similar to Colorado, I think they can play with teams. Now, they were kind of, so-so in their last season, first season in the Big 12. I think they'll definitely be improved, but again, they are at number 9, so there's a lot of teams I think are better than them. Our number 8, Kansas. All right, got Jalen Daniels back at quarterback. Last season, 9-4. Really good season. Lance Leipold is back, turned down some other jobs reportedly. Now, the real question here, yes, you've got Devin Neal. Yes, you've got Daniels. Who's Daniels' backup? All right, nothing against the guy. He's really good, and I hate to even talk about this, but he's injury prone. Last season, Jason Bean kind of saved their season. He went off when he came in. He's gone. All right, he's in the NFL now. What's going to happen if Daniels can't stay healthy? Now, if he can stay healthy, this team could compete in the Big 12, I think. But if he can't, what's going to happen? Who's going to step up? Now, somebody is going to step up probably, but that's going to impact their standing a little bit for me. Now, if it was a 100% guarantee Daniel's going to play the whole season, they might bump up a few spots, but for now, with so many question marks, particularly with his injury status, I got to put them at number 8. Excuse me. All right, number 7, Texas Tech. Last season, 7-6. You've got Taj Brooks coming back. He's an All-American candidate at running back. Joey McGuire's done a good job here. Now, Last season, preseason-wise, I had them in my top 25. I thought they were going to win the Big 12 last year, and they kind of disappointed a little bit. Now, sometimes when that happens, you'll see teams that they're a year later. Like everybody expected them to be really good this year. They're not very good. 7-6 isn't that bad, but, they're not as good as people expected. They're not the champions of the conference. So the next year is kind of when it hits. We are a year early, but they still have all that talent in place. Now's the time that they're going to make a run. So Texas Tech is one of the teams that I think could be a sleeper pick in this conference, could end up going on a run and making the Big 12 championship. Because really, like I said, this conference is wide open. I would say anybody in the top 8, Kansas and above, could win the championship in this conference, and it wouldn't shock me if they made the Big 12 championship. And you could probably even throw UCF in there, but I wouldn't put them quite as high as 8 and above. I think Texas Tech, and you saw on that poll I did, it's how divided it is. There's a lot of votes for every single team listed there. I think Tech is going to be competitive enough. I think they are talented enough to probably go on a pretty good season this year. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if all these Big 12 teams just beat each other, to be honest with you, because even the teams we haven't talked about yet, they're not just unbeatable. Our number 6, Arizona. So this is the team with the most question marks for me. Last season, 10-3 in the Pac-12. Now, if they would have somehow kept their head coach, Jeb Fish, I would probably have them towards the top. They've got Noah Fifita coming back. They've got their receiver coming back, McMillan. He's going to be an All-American. They're really talented. All right, offensively, super talented. 10-3 last season and pretty good Pac-12 is a good year. But again, they lose their head coach. They bring in Brent Brennan from San Jose State. How is he going to look? How is Arizona going to look under Brent Brennan? Brent Brennan will see. He didn't do the best at San Jose State. I didn't love this hire. Now, again, it's not an easy place to win, so it's kind of hard to tell and read in too much on that. But how is Arizona going to look under him? To be determined. They could easily hit this year and skyrocket in these power rankings. They could also tank and lower in these power rankings and end up 10th or something. I wouldn't be surprised either way. I don't know if they'll be 6th. I could be, like I said, I could see them being 1st or 10th, anywhere from that range. They probably got the biggest discrepancy between this season, between any of these teams in the conference. I think it could go any which way for Arizona. Our number 5, West Virginia, really good year last year, 9-4. Neal Brown got himself off the hot seat. Big reason for that, Garrett Green. Quarterback for West Virginia. We saw a couple comments about him earlier talking about how versatile he is. He's a really good dual threat guy. If you haven't watched his highlights, by the way, go watch him. He's super fun to watch. Now, with them, this is kind of a team I talk about with Texas Tech. Were they a year early? You've got Garrett Green back. He's arguably one of the top 5 players coming back in the Big 12. West Virginia's offense is going to be explosive. Can they stop teams on defense? If so, if they can stop some of these teams, there's no reason they can't win the Big 12 this year. Garrett Green, again, is going to be an all Big 12 type of guy this season. If he can stay healthy, I think West Virginia is in store for a pretty good year. Our number 4, Kansas State. Okay, so Kansas State, along with a lot of these other teams, I think Kansas State is the most consistent. So, even, I would 3 through 5, Kansas State, team we just talked about, West Virginia, and then the team we're going to talk about in a second, I think are all interchangeable, 3 through 5. Kansas State, I thought about putting at number 3 just because of how consistent they are. I know they're going to be at least 8 wins probably. These other teams, you never know. They could just, crap the bed and have a terrible season. Kansas State, though, Chris Klieman has kind of earned the benefit of the doubt there. He's going to win at Kansas State no matter what. They lose their quarterback, Will Howard, but they've got Avery Johnson coming in. All right, he had some flashes last year, got some play. They've got a lot of other key pieces coming back from last season, which was 9-4, pretty solid year. I think they've got all the recipe. They're consistent enough. They could definitely be in play for the Big 12 championship. Our number 3, Iowa State. Okay, so again, I think Kansas State is more consistent than Iowa State. Iowa State could kind of go up or down as well. All right, last season 7-6, but they return a ton from last season. Matt Campbell has done really good at Iowa State. They return their starting quarterback, Rocco Becht. They return their starting running back. They return their starting pass catcher. They're loaded this season. All right, they were pretty good last year. Down the stretch, their last 5 or 6 games, they really tore it up in the Big 12. They beat Kansas State. They kind of turned it on towards the end. They started slow, lost to Ohio, lost to Iowa, but again, they turned it on that last stretch. And if they can build that momentum and turn it into this season, they could be the best team in the Big 12. They have enough talent, enough guys coming back. They're experienced. Iowa State has all the pieces to win in the Big 12, but again, we could see where they're inconsistent and they lose to some teams they shouldn't lose to, and they drop down a few spots. All right, number 2. So I think these are the clear top 2 to me. Number 2, we've got Utah. Last season, 8-5. That was without quarterback Cam Rising. Cam Rising is back in the Big 12. Transferred out of Texas a few years ago to go to Utah. Has had a ton of success at Utah. I think he's a top 5 quarterback in the nation. Not necessarily stat-wise, but the dude wins. All right, he's made multiple Rose Bowls. The guy wins a lot of ball games. And I think Utah, with Kyle Whittingham, even with the bad quarterback play they had last year, they were still 8-5 just because of product of the system Kyle Whittingham has in place. You bring back a Heisman candidate quarterback, put him in place at quarterback with the rest of that team. No reason this team can't win the Big 12. I think they're a force to be reckoned with this year. I think these top 2 teams actually could both get in the college football playoff if all falls right, but we'll see what happens. All right, number 1, Oklahoma State. All right. Last season, 10-4, really up and down year. I always saw some guys mention it in the comment section. Really inconsistent last season. I mean, they made the Big 12 championship, but also they lost like by 30 to South Alabama at home. Like that doesn't make any sense. They got killed by Texas in the championship, yes, but they made the Big 12 championship. All right, they were the only other team that made it. So even despite that, they bring back almost their entire roster from last season. In particular, Ollie Gordon. He's an Heisman candidate and going to be an All-American. Doak Walker winner. They bring back a couple receivers. They bring back their quarterback, Alan Bowman. And Mike Gundy's back. All right, Mike Gundy has done a really good job at Oklahoma State. He's pretty consistent as far as winning, 8 and above games year after year. This team is loaded. Defensively, they bring back some pieces from last year. Even though it was inconsistent last year, this is another year of experience. They've got guys coming back to where, yeah, we made the Big 12 championship last year. Texas is gone. We're the favorites. We're the big dogs now. Now, Kansas State, I think, is the betting favorite, but if you ask me, I think it would be Oklahoma State or Utah right now to win the Big 12 championship. But those are my power rankings. Let me know yours. Who would you move up? Who would you move down? Let me know. Comment down below. Make sure to like this video, and most importantly, subscribe.